One of the biggest misconceptions parents hear is this: your child is doing well academically, so they probably don't have ADHD or autism. And honestly, that idea causes a lot of children to get missed for years because good grades do not rule out neurodevelopmental struggles. In fact, some of the children who get missed the longest are actually very bright. I'm Ibrahim, a licensed nurse practitioner and registered psychotherapist, and this is something we see very often in assessment work, especially in intelligent children who compensate well academically but are struggling emotionally, socially, or functionally underneath the surface. A lot of schools primarily notice grades, classroom performance, and behavior inside structured environments, but parents often see something completely different at home, and this creates huge confusion. Because the teacher may say, they're doing fine. Meanwhile, the parents are dealing with daily meltdowns, emotional dysregulation, explosive mornings, rigidity, homework battles, sensory overload, or complete emotional collapse after school. And parents start questioning themselves. They think, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe my child is just emotional. Maybe they are just tired. But many bright children are using enormous mental energy to compensate all day long. This is where people misunderstand ADHD and autism in intelligent kids. Compensation can hide symptoms, especially early on. Some children are naturally verbal, highly intelligent, and very observant. They learn to copy peers socially. They memorize routines, they become perfectionistic, they overwork to keep up, and from the outside, they may appear fine. But internally, many are overwhelmed. Here is the part people miss. A child can succeed academically while still struggling significantly with regulation, executive function, flexibility, sensory processing, or social exhaustion. Those things are not the same. And this is why some children completely fall apart after school, because they have spent the entire day masking, compensating, monitoring themselves, and trying to hold it together. Then they come home to their safe environment and collapse emotionally. This is the part nobody talks about enough. Some children only melt down where they feel safest. Parents often tell me, the school doesn't see what we see. And honestly, sometimes that's true, because school and home place very different demands on a child. At school, there is structure, routine, peer imitation, and external accountability. At home, the nervous system finally releases tension. And that's when the emotional dysregulation appears. This can look like crying, anger, rigidity, shutdowns, sensory overwhelm, or extreme reactions to transitions, especially during mornings, bedtime, homework, or unexpected changes. And bright children often become very skilled at hiding struggles, which delays assessment even further. This is also why intelligent children are frequently diagnosed later than expected. People assume they're too smart, they make eye contact, they speak well, they get good grades. But neurodevelopmental assessments are not based only on intelligence. They look at patterns, functioning, regulation, attention, social communication, flexibility, sensory processing, and adaptive functioning. And sometimes the child's intelligence is actually masking underlying difficulty. Here's where this becomes dangerous. The child often starts internalizing stress very early because they know things feel harder for them than for other kids, even if they can't explain why. Some become highly anxious. Some become perfectionistic. Some develop low self-esteem. Some start avoiding school entirely. Some become emotionally exhausted from constantly compensating. And parents often feel exhausted too, because they're trying to help a child who looks fine externally, but is struggling constantly behind the scenes. Now, to be clear, not every emotional child has ADHD or autism. But when these patterns are persistent, when the struggles keep repeating, when parents consistently feel something deeper is happening, it's worth exploring properly instead of waiting for years, hoping the child grows out of it. At Crocus Care, we look at full picture during assessments, not just grades or surface behavior, because some of the brightest children are also the ones struggling the hardest underneath the surface. And getting proper clarity early can change the entire direction of support, school planning, treatment, and emotional understanding for both the child and the family. If you need a comprehensive assessment for your child, go to links.crocuscare.ca and book either the initial consultation or a full neurodevelopmental assessment.